If you want to prepare for the exam, you have to write. I mean, there is no other way. Okay? So please, for those who have written, I don't want you to copy we'd like to analyze just the body of your essay. Okay? So don't copy your introduction nor your conclusion, because we don't want to spend a lot of time. We'd like to analyze just your body or your development. So if anyone has written his essay, I would like you please to copy on the chat window your development, just development, not introduction and not the conclusion, so that we can discuss it together. So I'm waiting for those who have done their homework to copy down in the chat window just their development part. We will discuss together with your friends. Okay, that's good that I see that we have many examples. I will take very quickly the example of Yemna. Yemna, would you like to complete the... okay. You have the first four and the B. So what do you have after Yemna here?
Teacher, please, can you share your screen?
Sorry, I did not. It's good that you remind me. Thank you very much. So I have copied the first paragraph written by Yemna.
Sorry, teacher, yes. So, and after a contemplation of the endless lounges on the first floor and the beautiful stage for animation, we were guided to
you have
our
written it
I will
here,
write it.
beautiful stage. Let me see, where is it? You have...
Yes, so beautiful stage for animation.
Yes, I'm looking for it.
No, I think nowhere.
Before
animation, we were so stage for animation.
Or just copy down.
Yes, I write it.
Yes.
We were guided.
Just do this.
That's okay. I write it.
Okay, all right. Now we will just discuss these few lines here, and I would like the remarks of your friends. Your opinion first. Pay attention. This is a body. This is not an introduction. This is not a conclusion. This is a body. I would like you to give me your remarks, whether it is an appropriate, the appropriate part in the. We're talking about the content first. I'm not concerned with any spelling problems or whatever. First, in terms of content, I would like your opinions. Read. I remind you that this is development, a paragraph from the development part. Yes, do you have any remark? Is it appropriate as a part of development? Yes. If you say no, tell me why. If yes, it's okay then. Yes, Mukhtar is giving here a very good remark, is that the setting must be mentioned in the introduction and not in the development. So here, this 3 years ago and during summer holidays, my husband and I, my daughter and I decided to do something different and try cruising through some Caribbean islands. This should not be part of the development. Okay, now if you remember, I told you that in narratives, you need to have this in mind. The 3 parts that you have to keep in mind, please. Before, you remember, before the event. Okay, the event. And after the event. Generally, the event is here where we talk about the development. It's here the part that is linked to development. Okay, whereas before the event, that's what Mukhtar talked about, which is the setting. You are talking about summer holidays, you are talking about time 3 years ago. This is something that is before the event, which should be here better in the introduction. Okay, so here, I think from here, you start your development. So first we embarked from, now here you start talking about the event, and here where your development starts. Okay, so generally the setting should be here. Okay, so this is a good remark from Jalal. So I think narrative essays are generally easy to organize. You have 3 main parts. And of course, in the part here in development, you can write as many paragraphs as you can. In the exam, you are required to write 3 paragraphs, and plus the introduction and the conclusion. So maximum of 5 pages. But there is no limit to the number of paragraphs you can write if you want to write an essay. But again, because of the constraint of time, you are not advised to write more than 5 paragraphs. Okay, so this is the only remark, I think, which is very important, apart from some
Yes, without P.
yes, contemplation. Yes, without P and with N. And now here, pay attention to punctuation. It's a semicolon rather than a comma. But from that, it's okay. Now here, you see here, this is what we call, we suppose that you have written it, and we have French as the language, the default language. Normally, when you are writing with a document and you choose English as default language, then you will have different inverted commas, namely these ones. Okay, but this one here, the one used here are French. The one we use in the French language. Okay, this is a good start, but the only remark is that your development should start from here. Okay, apart from that, it's okay. Now, can you suggest a homework, please? Now, this time a descriptive essay. I'm waiting for your suggestions. Yes, but it's Jalal, you can say my husband, my daughter, and I, no problem. My family, 1L, you can use it. But here, if we specify that this family, they have just 1 daughter, there's no harm in specifying. Now, your suggestions about a narrative as a descriptive essay, please. You suggest? Yes. Person you cherish, person you love. Yes. Yeah, suggestions. Your favorite pet. Yes. So I will opt for the first suggestion. Describe a person you love. Now here, of course, in descriptions, when you describe a person, it goes without saying that you can describe either his or her physique or her character, or both. Okay, showing why. I mean, in the description, we need to come to the conclusion, that is why I love this person. Okay, it's because of the description that I'm giving you that this is the goal of your essay. Okay. Yes, Hajar, want to say something? Yes, of course you can. You can, when we say describe a person, as I told you, you can describe his physique or his character, or both. It's up to you to decide. It depends on the details you have. If you don't have things to say in character, you have just things to say about his physique, you talk about his physique. But please remember that, yes, as you like. I mean, it's up to you to decide. But yes, it's good not to mix, because when you have a paragraph, you say to yourself, okay, I will dedicate this paragraph to talk about just his physical description. Okay. You're talking about the mixture of narratives and descriptives. Yeah, as I told you, if in the exam you'll have either of the two formats in the question, either we'll have in the question describe. If you have describe, so from the very beginning, you know that it is a descriptive essay. It needs to be, or a high percentage of your essay should be descriptive. Of course, you can include some events here and there, but they should be a small number. The majority of your piece of work should be, descriptions should predominate. Okay, same for if you have tell us about. If I say tell us about, I'm telling you to tell me what happened. So you know, if you have an expression like that it is a narrative essay. Of course, you can include some descriptions, but in a narrative essay, the goal is to tell a story and not merely to describe. Okay, so mixing is okay, but remember that if it is a descriptive essay, then description should predominate. If it is a narrative essay, narration should predominate. All right, that's it. Okay, so please remember the homework. Again, keep on repeating like a crazy person that if you want to prepare for the exam for a composition, you need to write essays as much as you can. So you need to have a pen I'm saying, okay, and you write. You can think about any topic. You know that you will have either narrative or descriptive, so you are not lost. Okay, and just with 2-3 friends, you do as we do now. You suggest a topic and you write and you exchange with your friends. Self-correction first, peer correction when you correct with friends, and then yes, so if you can do just this, I'm sure that you will not have problems. And if you find it's difficult to write an essay at home while you are not stressed, then you can imagine the problems you'll have when you'll have time constraint and you will be in the exam. So training yourself before the exam is the best way to reduce the stress during the day of the exam. Okay, so describe a person you love This is your homework. So the focus is on description, please. Now, if you remember last time, we started talking about ways to organize a paragraph of description. We talked about, but I would like to refresh your mind to remind me about what we have said concerning the chronological or time order. What did we say? Very quickly, because this is something we have seen last time. What do you mean by chronological order? What did we say last time? Yes, describing something, what you see first, what you see next. Now here it's like you have a camera and you are moving with your camera from one scene to the other, from one part of the things you are described to another part. Yes. So here, what you first see, what's then to describe whatever you are describing. Okay. So whatever you are describing. Like describing a moving object or person or a storm, whatever. Now, spatial order. What did we say about it last time? Refresh your mind and tell me what, in which case. Yes, Khadija. Okay. Or maybe, well, the camera can be fixed or not. Imagine this is a technique used, yes, you talked about the cameras moving in space from top to bottom. Yes, so sometimes we can have a camera zooming first on the eyes of the character, then from the eyes we move to the face, and then because whenever you meet someone, it depends. First thing you pay attention to is the face, because this is the thing that you look at, and then you move to other parts of the body, for example. Okay, or if he has something that attracts the attention in his face, for example, some queer glasses, for example, that may attract your attention. A nose which is not either too big or too small, a mouth which is too big or too small, a mouth with no teeth, for example, there are the things that can attract your attention, and this is the first thing you can see before whether the guy has a beard or not, a mustache, whatever, especially when you want to describe, um, suppose you were stolen, and then you go to the police, and then the first question they will ask you, can you describe the thief? And when you want to describe, you don't say he is neither tall nor short, he is neither fat nor you don't help the police. What you say is what you have seen first, what attracted your attention first. Maybe he has something in his face that attracts the attention, a star or whatever. He has he was wearing some special glasses, or his hair, any idea about his hair, or anything that distinguish this person from others. Now, look at the second way of organizing ideas, which is a spatial order. What do you mean here by spatial order? So generally this is used, spatial order is more about describing a place more. So yes, yeah, now when you describe in terms of space, position, yes, so we have top to bottom, bottom to top, or as we have here, outside, inside, or inside, outside, etc. Good. Now, we stopped last time in number 3, order of importance. Now here, I would like you to read and tell me what you get in your own words, please. Number 3. So there are many ways to organize details in a paragraph. It can be time order, it can be spatial order, or it can be order of importance. What do we mean by order of importance? Try to write your suggestions. Yes. Yes, Khadija. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by padding? Jalal. Yes. Well, useless, yes, or superfluous would say can be we can move from most important to superfluous, or the other way around. Yes. Yes. So you can start from the most important or the other way around. It's all depends on the way you would like to organize your yes. Yes. So it's up to you to decide. Here I have suggestion of Khadija, which is good. So you start from what is more catching or interesting to the less, or vice versa. Okay? Or from the less catching, less interesting, to the most interesting, the most important. Okay. Next, we have another way of organizing, which is the most noticeable feature order. Read this and give me your opinion or your way. Yes, most captivating. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the paragraph we have seen about the barber shop? Yes, the most attractive thing that the writer started with was the chair, or the barber chair, which was and we understand why it attracted his attention, because it is practically in the middle of that dirty barber shop. So that's again a way to It's like you want to describe a place somewhere, and then you imagine you are just at the front door, and then you can tell the reader what you see first, or what attracts your attention, and then you move on to describe other things. But it's always, whenever we go to a place, there is always something that attracts our attention first. Yes, because it is easily seen, detected. Yes, Yamna. You can. All right, so here we have different ways of ordering. Now we look at the exercise. Now we have 3 paragraphs using 3 different patterns of organization. Now I would like you to read this first paragraph and to tell me which way it's followed, the writers followed in organizing their details. Is it a chronological order? Is it a spatial order? Is it an order of importance, or the most noticeable feature order? You choose. Of course, you have to justify why you think it's this type of order which is used. Okay. Now look at the paragraph, read it, and tell me which way of ordering is used to organize this paragraph. Don't tell me it's a combination. Choose one. And choose one, and you have to justify what are the words, for example, that help you decide. So I have here all types of, there are those who says it's a chronological order. Others says order of importance, spatial order. Pay attention, spatial order is with T. Here we have the word space with C, but the adjective is with T. You give me, but many of you did not justify, okay? You say the words that makes you decide about the order. What are they, Jawad, if you say spatial expressions? I think that Khadija was of course he describes the home, yes, but it goes without saying, but we need which type of order? Khadija?
Sir?
Yes?
Sir? I'm sorry, I have a problem writing, so can I explain myself, please?
Yes.
I think it is a chronological order because the narrator starts talking from the first entry to the house to the last one. So he said, as I stepped, and then we can see as I left. So he started talking from the first steps in to the room, to the house, to the last one. That's why I think it's chronological order.
Yes. You're right. So it's a chronological order. And here Khadija mentioning words that help us decide that it's a chronological order. We have after, when it was time. Okay, these are the expressions used that show that it is a chronological order. It's like the writer is describing, referring to 3 different salons, yes, but one after the other. I mean, in the order he entered them, okay, and especially the transitional words that shows the passing of time. That's what matters here, and that shows that there is a chronological order here. Okay, now we go to next paragraph. Can you tell me again which way of ordering is used? Give you a few minutes to read. Uh-huh. Yes, the others. Which order is used here? I see that there is an agreement between students concerning this paragraph. Yes, it's like the camera eye. Okay. So we have spatial order, and we have expressions like at the left, to the left, sorry, to the right. Yes, at the left, at the right, center of the room, overhead. Yes, you have also, yes, you have overhead, also near. These are all expressions that we use near. All of them are used to whenever you want to describe a space. Good. Now, you see that we are talking about the same, we are describing the same place, but we can describe it in a different way. Okay, look at paragraph 3. We are still describing the same thing. Okay, so try to tell me which way of ordering is used here. Yes, the other students, what do you think? So here we have yes. So Maryam and Khadija seem to agree. Yes, now here, Maryam, you're right. Is the most, what attracts the attention or the first thing that was noticed by this guest, and we suppose that it's not a Moroccan guest, okay? Because Moroccans, all Moroccan salons look like this, more or less. But we have those long rows of cushioned seats. The quality, of course, it depends on whether the owners of the house are rich or not. But whether we have a poor or an average or a family or a middle class family, even low classes, they have a salon in which it is. I mean, they put in it the best they have, and especially the long rows of place where we can sit. And this is something peculiar of the Moroccan houses. And now, if you happen to visit Moroccan immigrants abroad, you can see that most of them have decorated their homes in the way they do in Morocco. And they find that they have a salon. And when foreigners go into a house, if you visit, I mean, if they close your eyes and put you in the house of a Moroccan immigrant, you may think that you are in Morocco, but you are in Europe. But because of the nostalgia for the home country, and because we like the way our Moroccan houses, we have to be proud of that. I mean, the way Moroccan houses are organized and decorated, make it really peculiar and make it shows the difference of the Moroccan and the richness of the Moroccan culture. And now when you go, that's same for us when you visit the house. When you visit an apartment or a house of a French person, for example, but you will not find those long rows of cushion seats that we have in our homes, mainly because we tend to receive people in our houses, whereas for Westerners they don't. You may find a sofa, very limited places for sitting, mainly because of the small space they have. Generally, they don't live in big apartments. And plus, they don't invite a lot of people. So it's common, for example, in Europe, if you want to invite someone, to invite him to a restaurant, but not to your house. And you have most of the time very limited places where you can sit. In front of television, you may find a sofa where you have 2-3 places, depending on the number of people living in the apartment, which is completely different from the way our homes in Morocco are organized. Yes, so you're right. It is the most, for this person, what he first noticed are those long rows of cushioned seats, which is different. Something it attracted his or her attention because it's something that they cannot find in their country. It's something different. Maybe he would not have been surprised if there were chairs or even armchairs, but no, especially in very in villas or in houses of very rich people, you can have all types of salons. You can have a European salon, you can have but you cannot, it's impossible not to find the Moroccan traditional salon which is well decorated. Yes. Okay. So the goal of the exercise is just to make you aware is that we can describe the same thing, but describe it in different ways. Either you can order things the way you see them, so you can opt for a time order, or by opting for a special order when you focus on the way things are organized in space, or by opting for a most noticeable feature, something that attracts your attention first, and then you describe it with more details. Now, we go on to talk about sensory language. So very quickly, these are things that we have seen. What do you mean by sensory language? Well, we are still talking about description and the way we can describe. Yes. What does it mean? Sensory details, the inclusion of sensory details in our description. Yes, Jawad. Yes, Yamna. Yes. So, of course, what we mean by sensory details is to use as many senses, as Khadija says, as possible, depending, of course, on the thing you are describing. But what is the goal? It is mentioned here. why we need to use as many senses as we can in our description. Yes, Yemna. Okay. Plus, you involve. Yes, Khadija. Okay. So, you're right. So, use of senses. And what do you mean by senses? It's what Jawad talks about: touch, sights, and hearing. The goal is to involve the reader. To make him feel as if he is present. To put him in the situation, yes. As if. So the more you include details, the more the reader will be involved, and the more he will feel as if he was with you, watching and hearing and smelling the things you have described. Okay, that's why you have to try, whenever you want to describe something, to ask yourself, which senses I can use in this context. Of course, the first sense that comes to your mind when you describe is what you can see. But it would be more interesting if you can include other senses. Of course, it depends on what is the thing you are describing. Now, look at this lines here and tell me what you get, please. Here we are talking about parasenses. What do you mean by parasenses? So you can use the senses. We know what we mean by senses, but you can also use parasenses, which means yes, Yamna, yes, Rizlan. Okay. Uh-huh. So we said that or internal, yes, internal feelings better. So either we have what we call body language, feelings, everything involved your thoughts, your emotions, yes, feelings. Emotions. That's what we mean by para senses. Okay? Now, the exercise. Now, here you will see we have some nouns in this column here, and we'd like to describe them and see what we can include if we describe what we can see, what we can hear, etc. We have an example. We did not include a column for parasenses because they are not included as often as the senses. For example, if you want to describe an apple, first, of course, you describe what you can see. So we can talk about the color, red, green, yellow, fist sizes. You are talking about the size of the apple, especially when it's big. Here, now here the crunch, especially when you eat an apple, it makes a sound. Next, when you eat an apple, there is the smell. And of course, when you eat, we are talking about the taste. Sweet or tart. Then you can talk about the touch. When you touch an apple, can be smooth, bumpy, wet, sticky, whatever. So here you see that to describe an apple, I have used all the senses. Now, let's move to the word coffee. So that we are organized, because in the chat window, I guess you cannot put all the table. But I would like you to put, for example, C, and tell me what you can write in front of C, okay, to describe an apple. Sorry, a coffee. We start with this one. Tell me what you can suggest to describe. So I give you a few minutes. So yeah, when you say color, of course you have to mention which color. Yes. Okay, so this is what we can see when you watch a cup of coffee. Yes, okay, we have either brown, black. Yes. Is there anything else? Yes. Yes, so black. Chocolated color. Yes. or chocolate color, better. Creamy, yes, you can have creamy. Dark, yes, milk coffee. We can add foam. The foam you have on the coffee, you can add it. You can see it foam, bubbly, whatever. Good. Now, what you can hear, is it possible to use it to describe coffee? Yes, so we can describe it when Ahmed says no. You are mistaken, Ahmed, because you can either describe coffee when it is poured by a machine, or if you remember what we have done for the apple. Yes, Rizlan, you're right. When you sip, for example, when you drink, no, it's not a metaphor. When you drink coffee, you can hear a sound, and that sound is of sipping, to sip. Or the sound made by a machine of coffee when it, especially in coffee shops. That's an example. What about the smell? Now here it depends whether you like coffee or not. Because there are some people who don't like coffee, others like. I'm sorry for those who like coffee and Ramadan, and I hope that I'm not making it hard for you. And especially that we will talk about cigarettes later on for those who smoke. It's not that easy for smokers. Yes, there are some people who like the smell, though they don't drink it. So what can you say about the smell of coffee? It is strong. It can be a strong smell. Yes, strong smell. Unique. This is things that we use in publicity. What else you can say? If it is good. Well, Herbie, if you now here, if you say Herbie Jawad, it means that in case you are using some herbs, something that we don't do for coffee. Maybe we do it for tea. When you add other things to tea, other herbs like mint, for example. We are talking about, it can be viscosity, but here it's not the smell when you talk about viscosity. When you talk about viscosity, you are talking about something that you can see. Especially when it is great. Sweet, simply, for those who like coffee, can be sweet. It can be, you can talk about the aroma. And here, the smell. When you say Arabica, you say, these are different aroma that, I mean, we have some people who like coffee. They can even, you can detect before drinking even the quality of the coffee by its smell. Now, what about the taste? Again, here it depends whether you like coffee or not. So here it's not butter, yes, bitter. So bitterness, bitter. If you don't like, maybe. But if you like, there are some people who cannot, I mean, it's impossible for them not to drink coffee. They are even, we can say that they are addicted to drinking coffee. And then, yes, so bittersweet, yes. Now, what about the touch? Well, is it possible to describe touch when you talk about flavorful? Yes. Irresistible, irresistible. I'm gonna pay attention to the spelling. But pay attention when you say touch, possible you not touch the coffee itself, but if you have it in a cup and you have it in your hand, then you can describe the touch in this case. So yes, hot or yes, for example, you can feel that the coffee is hot from the touch of the cup in which you have hot or cold. Yes, Abay, we're talking about the grain. That's yeah, you are going a little bit far. Very few people now grind coffee at home, though it was used to be done in the past. Generally, people buy coffee ground from the shop. Now, we see here. This is an example that it's if we think we can find something to say about the different touch, the different senses. Now, if you want to describe a cigarette, what you can see first? So you give me examples of what you can include. The shape of a cigarette. So yes, the cylindrical form, the length. So here, of course, it depends whether you have a cigar or a cigarette or cigarettes made from drugs in the Moroccan context. You can talk about length, yes, shape. So here the shape, generally speaking, the color also, yes. Is it color? Yes. You know, when you smoke cigarettes, you can have the white part and the yellow part. And here, you describe someone smoking, you can see what? When you see someone smoking, You call it a vapor? What do we call it? Yeah, it's the smoke. Yes, the smoke. We have the smoke. Okay, so yellow, when we talk about colors, you can use a yellow, black, whatever. Then what you can hear when you hear someone smoking, yes, well, it does not whisper. Now the whisper, when you say to someone secret, you whisper. You whisper. Uh, yeah, generally many people tend to cough. Yes, or we have when you are going up the stairs and you feel tired, the difficulty to breathe. What do you call that? Yes, that the sound when things inside burns, exhalation, to exhale, to inhale, but does it make a sound? We have an expression that says huff and puff. Now here, this is the sound you make, especially if you are going upstairs for 3 floors and you are tired and you have problems to breathe. This is the sound we can sound you can hear. What about the smell? Again, here, whether you like cigarettes or not. So it depends. If you like cigarettes, people who smoke, who like cigarettes, will not find it nasty, for sure. But for those who don't like, yeah, even for cigarettes, I mean, if you don't smoke, you can find uh, you can stand to sit near someone who is smoking, let alone smoking herbs. I mean, just normal cigarettes. For someone who does not like cigarettes, may be annoying. You don't like, maybe even smothering or even suffocating, we can say. Well, nasty, generally the word is not used with cigarettes, but we can, metaphorically speaking, we can talk about people who are nasty. Yes, Ahmed. Repulsive. Yes. Here we are using words that we have seen before. Disgusting. Now here, if you don't like cigarettes, but it can be sweet for someone who like cigarettes. Now, what about the taste? Smokers, can you describe the taste? But again, it depends. Pay attention. We can talk about. You can talk about your taste as a non-smoker. That's a possibility. Okay. Because you can be, yes, a negative smoker. Someone is smoking near you, but you can feel a taste, you as a non-smoker, which can be maybe the adjectives we have used here can be, we have used in smell, can be used to talk about taste also. Possible. Disgusting, you have a taste, especially if you hate cigarettes. But if you are a smoker and you cannot afford to buy a cigarette and you have not smoked for many hours, if there is someone nearby who is smoking, you can feel it as the sweetest taste you have ever, yes, tasty if you like. So here, possible to use the same, nearly the same adjectives that we have talked about in the smell to talk about the taste. Yes. And what about the touch? So when you touch a cigarette, how do you feel? Is it a rough, soft? Yes. Talking about the touch, not about the taste. Smooth, yes. So these are, we have here two examples. Yes, light, heavy. Okay. Now we move to describe a car. So you would say why we are doing this exercise, just to make you aware that whenever I want to describe, it can put this table in front of me and brainstorm. Say I have to describe something. What can I say for the seeing, for hearing, for smelling, etc.? And in some situations, maybe I cannot include all the senses, but I try as much as I can to include as much as possible. Yes, now here we are talking about colors. Attractive, beautiful, whatever. So you can talk about any color, the shape, or maybe when you say shape, you are talking about the design. The design of a Ferrari is not like a design of Porsche. The brand also, you can see the brand or the logo of the brand. Yes, the height. The height. Yes. Yes. So shape or size, we talk about the height. Now, what you can hear, is it possible to describe what you can hear when you talk about a car? Yes. Now here we are talking about the engine or the motor, the noise made, the sound of the engine. Yes. Now here you can off the engine. You see, we can talk about a car. And sometimes you can hear a car before being able to see it. It's like those cars that looks like sports cars with the sound of the engine, which is too noisy. It's like a roaring noise. Now here you can, yes, double motorization, okay. Now what about the smell? Is it possible to describe the smell? So how you can describe the smell? Yes, the smell of oil, the smell of gasoline, the smoke. Yes. Now here the smell of smoke, of gasoline used, gasoline or fuel, whatever. We can have a smell. We can have the smell of it. The smell inside the car, yes. There are some cars, if if the car driver is a smoker, then you have a peculiar smell inside the car. Same if you have those perfume used in cars. Now, what about the taste? Is it possible to talk about taste? No, I mean it's not an apple, it's not coffee. But is there a possibility to talk about the taste? No? So what about because here you can have as a consequence of the smell, the smell of smoke can have as a consequence a taste, or the smoke or the fume. You have a car which is not someone who does not pay attention to his car, you can have fumes. And these fumes, if you happen to be near a car which has a lot of fume, yes, you smell it and you have an aftertaste in your mouth. Because fumes can be tasted, yes? Fume can be tasted. You feel it in your throat. That feeling can be described. And we see we are going a little bit far-fetched things, I can confess. But the goal is that because the more you include different senses, the more your essay can be longer. But if you reduce yourself, if you limit yourself to one sense, then you will not have much to say. And what about the touch? When you touch a car, when you say glitter, this has nothing to do with the touching. It has more to do with seeing. Yes. especially when it shines, when it is well painted, metallic painting. You say that the car was so beautiful that it glittered. And we say that we talk about things that glitters, and we have the proverb that says that not all that glitters is gold. Yes, so when you touch it, you can feel it hot, especially if polished. Yes, you're right. Smooth, simply. And there are those who love cars. I mean, they cannot stop describing the beauty of the touch. When they touch a car, glassy, you have the feeling that as if it is glass, especially when it is well painted. Okay, so I think we will stop here. Thank you for your participation. And I can remind you, please, to do the homework. And the homework I'm giving you is not enough. At least you need to write 2 essays or 3 essays per week to prepare for. And here, the more you think, you think about, you imagine, you think about topics, who knows, you may think about the topic that can be given to you, because you know, sometimes you can be lucky to have done a topic before the exam. So I wish you good luck. Happy Ramadan once more. Take care of yourself. Work, 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 work. And I remind you that there is no time for sleeping. You can make a pause to relax. Lie down, especially during the day, but don't sleep. Okay, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.